little bit or low brass. Trumpets, lift your trumpet up so I can see your bell. So Zach, you're going to want to move your stands. There you go. So Robert, move your stand so I can see your bell. Trumpet so I can see your bell. Zach, are you and Tim sharing? Are you and Tim? Move your stand that way, Zach. There you go, just a little bit. There you go. Yep. You're sharing with Kevin? Okay. So push your stand just kind of behind Henry's, and then you guys split that stand. Okay? Everybody else see? Good. Here we go. B flat half notes, everybody. B flat half notes. 1, 2, and ready. Good. Tone. Trumpets up. Quarter notes, please. 1, 2 quarter notes and go. Tempest first, right? Then prehistoric, and then rock and robin. Good? Okay. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our 2016 spring concert. It feels just a few months ago we were here at the Christmas concert with our 6th graders and debut. And we're not 6th grade beginning band anymore. We're about ready to transition. We will perform 3 pieces for you tonight. And in our previous 2 concerts this year as 6th graders, we played at least something out of our book, meaning unison or 2 parts. And I'm proud to announce that we graduated to all sheet music and multiple parts going on. As you learn more, you get to play harder music, more complex music, and the 6th graders are playing right at the top of their level. They are enjoyable to work with, they work hard, and thus we can pick 3 extremely different pieces for them. The first piece is called Tempest. And it's pretty intense, and the kids like playing it because, of course, everyone likes to just play loud. So we're going to start this piece, this concert out with The Tempest. Once you go on beyond getting basic rhythms and basic notes, there's a lot more to music, including tempos, fast, slow, smooth, accented, staccato, which means light. So many different things. You'll notice, and maybe I'll mention a couple of times tonight, that my main focus for these individuals that you're hearing tonight is that they are artists. And so many times, and I say this at a lot of my concerts, people say, oh man, they're really going to be a good high school band someday. And man, those middle schoolers, if you could only teach them emotion. Well, have you met a middle school student? I mean, they've got every emotion within about a four-second span on any given day. And so it's to just figure out how to create that with sound, and that we are artists. And the art that we create is not with clay or with paint or with pencils, but it's with sound. And so I ask them that. What are you trying to paint? What are you trying to draw? What art are you trying to convey? And so that's where we talk about how do you tell the story. And that's our goal tonight, is to tell you every piece we play different kinds of stories. The next piece is probably in my top 3 6th grade band pieces of all time. The 8th graders told me they played this piece, and if you talk to some of my high school kids, they heard this. So if you've been around, you've probably heard this. It's called Prehistoric Suite. It's a 4-movement piece, and it is depicting different kinds of dinosaurs. Of course, I wouldn't remember, but the first one is Stegosaurus, and he is the gladiator. The second one is the Brontosaurus, which is a gentle giant. The third one is the pterodactyls, in a really pretty movement called Graceful Giants of the Sky. And the fourth one, by far, is the favorite, is called the Battle of the Tyrannosaurus and the Triceratops. And if there's in the battle, let me use one of those. If you're up close, you'll be able to see this, but if you're not, sorry. It really just looks like a great big triangle sideways, filled in with black. And it says on top, random notes start low and soft, get louder, faster, and higher, depicting the battle. So that's movement 4, and they enjoy creating that. So that's their favorite part of the story. So I hope you enjoy Prehistoric Suite. You all have your music separated? Before we perform our last piece, I have had an assistant for the last 3 years, who is retiring this year. And Mrs. Anderson claims, and will claim, that she really doesn't, she just kind of does crowd control. And what she probably understands is that crowd control allows me to teach 70 kids how to play instruments. And so I, in my 17 years of teaching, for 14 of them have been the Lone Ranger in my own world in all of my jobs. And so to have an assistant was like, I had arrived, it was like a little bit of a mecca. And to be able to have somebody to kind of just, okay, tell me what to do, and kind of buy into it and almost claim herself as a bando herself, who I now claim as a bando as well, that all three of these groups here, she has played a role in, whether it's making sure they turn in their goal charts, or whether it's taking them into the other room and making them do their call-in test, or whether it's organizing music for me. But anyway, so I wish her well in her endeavors, in that she even has offered to come back, which, that's nice of her.
Only for band.
Only for band. But anyway, at this time, I would just like to show my appreciation and say thank you to Mrs. Lindman.
I really am proud of control. 3 years ago when I started this journey in band, I said, oh sure, I can do band, I can help band, I can read music, I can do rhythm. I didn't really realize what it takes to be the band director. And she is phenomenal at this job. And assistant is because she is phenomenal. We had, first year, 79. We had 79 kids that first day. And I remember sitting in the lunchroom with 79 11-year-olds who are now our wonderful 8th graders over there, and looking across the lunchroom at her thinking, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do with, because even when we split them, we still had 40 each. And none of them knew how to do anything. But it was fun, and it's been a great ride, and I would come back and help band anytime. I've learned a ton. And all of these kids down here, all the 7th and 8th graders, you are phenomenal. And thank you for being such great bandos and hanging in there, because it's hard sometimes to be a band kid. You're expected to do more, and you stand up and you do it, and that's why you're a bando, and I will always think I'm a bando as well. Thank you so much.
At the present time, I have 72 5th graders signed up for next year. And so maybe just that hour a day you can send good, patient vibes my way.
Can we get it scheduled in the morning so I can go to the beach in the afternoon?
Sure. As you've heard, this group out here is a great group of musicians, and it just makes me excited to think that I have 6 years with some of these musicians still to make music and to tell stories. It's kind of a bittersweet day for me, and I'll talk a little bit more of my 8th graders. It was my seniors' last day today, and while I wish them well, and it was time for them to leave, that I'm the only person in our district that gets to watch children grow for 7 years. So they are my children too. And so as I work with my middle school students, I think about that. I think longevity, I think relationship, I think things like that. And sometimes when there's 70 or 50 or whatever, and we have festival and we all that time, sometimes, you know, we wonder about that. But anyway, so I just hope you enjoy the rest of our concert. The 6th graders will conclude their portion with Rockin' Robin. At any point, snap, clap, whistle, feel free. Yeah. Rockin' Robin. cowbell or your trunk wood block. Hit it for me. So, do you guys need wind chimes? Okay, I got an idea. Yeah. So take the wind chimes off, you guys. You may want- The wood block is a very detrimental part to our opening piece, so we had to make sure that that was set. The wood block, if you didn't, the wood block is really important. We had to make sure that it was perfectly installed. So, this is the 7th grade band. The 7th grade band had a year of firsts. Your 6th grade band is, you're making a good sound and you can read music and you're having fun doing it. You know, that it's kind of a lot about the experience of it and the enjoyment of it. The 7th grade band, there's a lot more, we're a step up with expectations. They have the opportunity to go to solo and ensemble. They go to band festival where they, it's kind of the M step of the band world or the MEP of the band world where they're assessed on a state level. And then they're just given a lot more intricate music that has a lot more details that they need to perform. This group up here is a very talented and a very competitive group. And I believe that's what helps propel them in their sound. The thing that I'm the most impressed with this group up here is a lot of times still 7th grade band, you really, it's a real challenge to get them to play musically, to tell the story, that they like one dynamic and they play it one style. In this group you'll notice they have 3 very different styles they're going to play today, and they tell the story. Our first piece is a really fun piece. It kind of reminds me of the 1920s a little bit. It's called Velocity, and it's all about speed. Velocity. Summon did a great job covering both the triangle and woodblock part. She was good. I also like to recognize the trumpets on that. Sometimes they're like, I can't move my fingers that fast. And so they also did a really good job. As you can hear as well, one thing that we really work on in 7th grade is the refining of sound. And the refining of the trombones should sound like this as a wall of sound, and the clarinet should sound like this, versus your fingers are right, your hands are right, your mouth are right. They're really starting to listen as a group, and they've done a really good job with that. The next piece we're going to play is a jazzy Dixieland piece called Doo-Wah Dixieland. Parents of trumpet players, the plunger will come. It will all make sense now. At one point, so it says plunger mutes, and they're like, Mrs. Greenwood, what's a plunger mute? I said, well, it's a plunger, and you use it. And they're like, but if, and I'm like, I'll go to Lowe's and we'll get new plungers. And I have to tell this story because it's in my top probably 10 stories. And poor Ben, he's not here. Ben Kennard is sick tonight, and he comes to me the first day after we got them, maybe Tuesday? Yeah. Tuesday, and Ben, he comes up and said, Miss Greenwood, you're never going to believe this story, but it's true. It's 100% true. And I said, okay, what? He said, you know the plunger? And I'm like, yeah. He said, I took it home and I was practicing with it, and I was in my room, and my mom said, Ben, it's dinner time, and so I just kind of put my trumpet and my plunger on my bed, and we're all sitting there eating dinner, and all of a sudden he said, I heard Carrie. And he goes, my dog ate my plunger. And I said, Ben, that's a whole new level. And he said, but don't worry, I'll get a new one. And I'm like, yeah, get a new one. But he's sick tonight. But he gave me permission to share that story. So I hope you enjoyed Doo-Wah Dixieland. started to use blunders as mutes. I think we'll just leave that one to our imagination. It's been a joy, and once again, I am looking forward to next year with this group of musicians to continue on doing what they do. Right away, at the beginning in September, they're going to perform with the high school marching band at one of the football games. That's always exciting, and they get to take over the helmet playing the fight song at pep assemblies and things like that, and they will do just a great job. So I hope you've enjoyed their portion so far, and we will finish their portion of the concert with from Shrek, or the Monkees, or Neil Diamond, "I'm a Believer." B flat, 2, running, and. Olivia, do you have 2? Excellent, great. And it is now my pleasure to introduce to you to the 2016 8th grade band. Earlier in the concert I said a little bit, it's a bittersweet, but yet a really exciting day for me in that Earlier today was my senior's last day of band, and I always think about my 8th graders in that they have this great opportunity to be just an 8th grade band or 7th grade band or 6th grade band. And then all of a sudden they get, I was telling them earlier today, then they all of a sudden get absorbed into this monster of a band and this moving thing that sometimes seems a little bit overwhelming, and there's moments where we just want our 8th grade band back. And also sometimes 8th graders towards the end of their 8th grade career can develop a little bit of an attitude of, I need to get the heck out of here, I need to. And while this group is ready to move on to the high school, I have had the most enjoyable year with them in a long time as far as 8th grade bands go. Not only are they great musicians, and you will hear that soon, is this group of young men and women are just some of the nicest and respectful and funny and talented. And that takes nothing, please, away from the 7th and 6th graders. But if you've had an 8th grader, you understand that sometimes that happens. And if that's happening at home, know that it's not showing itself in band. So be rest at ease that way a little bit. And it has just been enjoyable because what we've been able to do is create stories and make music and to reach ourselves to a higher level. And I know that at festival they were bummed out because they didn't get the rating they wanted to. But I can tell you that when we went to festival, they played many notches above average 8th grade bands. And when we go to festival, it's all about the challenge. Sure, it would be nice to get a 1, but the level of musicianship is where I'm at with this group versus playing something that the judges would like. So I was very proud of them at festival. I've been proud of them all year, and I'm just looking forward to making music with them. The first piece we're going to play for you, the story is of a volcano called Kilauea, and you will kind of hear that in the depiction. Here's Kilauea. So we had to listen to a little bit. It's based on the folk tune Shenandoah and the Shenandoah River Valley and the mountains and all of that. And so we talked about that a little bit. If you notice, actually, our first piece and our second piece are by the same composer. His name is Brian Belmages. And actually, some of these students had the privilege last year in honor band to work with Mr. Belmages as our district band commissioned him to write a piece for our District 7. And so if your child was Cassidy and Carly, were you in honor band? Cassidy, there was Hannah, yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, Topanga. And so he is up and coming. He's from out east, and he writes a lot of educational band music, and is the hot thing in band music right now. So I hope you enjoy Shenandoah Trip. in making the connection a lot tonight. And sometimes as a middle school band, it's a stretch, and you're like, okay, they're doing it, they're playing loud, and they're trying to play soft, and it's really rare that I get a group like this that not only do they make the music, and that it's a lot of it, and a lot of them, it is intrinsic. A lot of them, it just happens. I sometimes have to remind them, okay, you gotta push up here. Not only because, the music sounds like that, but the composer said you have to, and things like that. Their characteristic sound is so rich and so mature for 36 of them. A lot of times, too, with middle schoolers, it's safety in numbers. And when there's only 2 and 3 people on a part, or there's 5 or 6 in a section, a lot of times it's that safety in numbers. And in order for you to come out of that shell and to be confident in what you're doing, it takes a special group. Not only that they have to do their practicing and they need to be diligent in 6th grade and in 7th grade, is they need to continue doing that, but they also have to feel safe in that environment, and that they have to be able to know that their peers that sit in that room to make music with them are on their side, and that if they make a mistake, it's not about, you made a mistake, which we all make mistakes. I make mistakes, they make mistakes, and while we, oh, that was a good one, they know that we're kind of in this safe haven together, and they treat each other really well, and they clap for each other. And I remember in 6th grade even that somebody would do something good and they'd clap for each other, and it was very much team mentality. And I've only actually had 2 or 3 groups in my whole career that kind of, from the get-go, are team mentality, and this group has been that. And so it is definitely bittersweet that a lot of them are, that this is the last time that we'll perform as a group, and many have chosen to this is their final performance, and I hope that at some point that they miss it and decide that they would like to come back. But I also understand that, and a lot of them are continuing on, which is exciting, which leads me to, if your child is participating in marching band next year, we have a meeting right after this, and I just want to go over stuff. I promise it will be quick, okay? Because it's still a beautiful night out. But, and so for them to have that talent, and even with those that know that, that this is maybe it, they haven't given up, and they still, you can tell that they enjoy, they kind of have a love-hate sometimes with their instrument of playing it and enjoying and doing things like that. And so whether they're my band students in my class, or if they are just, they are not in my class, they are always my students, because I got 3 great years with them, and I always wish them well, and I always wish them to be happy, and to just strive for the best, and to do your best, because that's what matters. So we would like to finish our season with Journey. Now, if you thought you wanted to clap at Rock and Robin, I mean, really, let loose, man. I mean, they're ready. They're ready for Don't Stop Believin', and they were really excited. So here's Don't Stop Believin'. Ready? expectations. As Lynn said, sometimes being a bando isn't an easy thing. To be, to stick with it and when it's hard and things like that, and sometimes it's not easy. And I won't lie, you know that I have pretty high expectations for what they can achieve, and so really sometimes it's not an easy being a bando. And so I just want to thank you for supporting them and their endeavors. Have a good rest of your school year. 8th grade parent meeting right here.